Caves have been a fundamental part of Minecraft since the very beginning, a core aspect of every Minecraft player's experience. A blank slate for inspiring every kind of emotion, from awe and excitement to pure terror. And while they have changed a lot over the years, they're still kind of mid, yeah? Let's change that. Today we're going to be building two completely different kinds of caves, using different block palettes and with totally different creative visions in mind. The first one's going to be a more enhanced version of your normal Minecraft cave. If you like realistic terrain, then this is the one for you. The second cave, on the other hand, is going to be entirely custom, exotic, and alien. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. 7 quick tips for amazing caves in Minecraft. Big shoutouts to Piglet Live for the video idea. There's a very important first step to making your own custom caves, and that's cleaning up. Chances are, if you're trying to terraform a custom cave in Minecraft, you'll be starting with an existing vanilla cave. If you're building a cave from scratch, congrats, you're insane. So we got our vanilla cave, right? Let's try and imagine our end goal. I'm picturing something like this. Notice how the walls are detailed and, dare I say, realistic. We've got an interesting block palette, ambient lighting, and some natural underground elements. But before we get to any of that, we will need a barren cave to work on. Imagine an empty cave as like your blank canvas. Most of you would probably use stone as your base material for this blank canvas, so let's do that. As you can see here, I'm stripping out all of the weird odd blocks like ores, gravel, random water, as well as things like diorite and granite, which are gonna stick out pretty bad. Check out this difference. It's kinda nuts. Of course, if you want things like granite, dripstone, and whatnot in your cave, that's all good. I'm not trying to say that you can't use anything but stone, but at least for more realistic caves, I find it useful to take stuff out first and then add it back in later. Try your best to make your cave feel less blocky. Keeping with the idea of realistic caves, we gotta work on this. This is just... yikes. Before we start throwing in details, let's do a first pass over this cave and really try to round things out. I love going through and putting down things like slabs, stairs, and even walls just to de-block-ify this cave. Here's a fun little trick with walls that I don't see a lot of people doing. So unfortunately, this is only gonna work with like andesite and cobble, since stone still doesn't have a wall for some reason, but it's a really neat trick. If you swap out a block like this for a wall, you're just gonna get this weird bump, which doesn't really look that great. But if you knock out 2 blocks deep and then throw down some walls, you basically get vertical slabs. I know, crazy. It's a great way of adding a bit more roundness to those big cave walls. Or you can make little streaks and veins like this. Just like in the previous tip, I've got a funny little before and after for you guys. If we get a closer look at different parts of our cave, you can really see the difference. Okay, we've got our realistic cave shape. What next? This is a nice cave, but it's still just a blank canvas. I think it's just about time we start throwing in textures and details. We want this to look like an improved version of a vanilla Minecraft cave. And one thing I've always wished that Minecraft did better was ore veins. Not only are these blobs kinda ugly, but they're not too realistic either. Rock and soil composition doesn't just dramatically flip-flop every few feet like this. So instead of blobs, why don't we make veins of ores and big streaks of calcite and diorite? While we're at it, let's do a bit of texture mixing too. I really like this subtle block gradient for the medium stony grays. Of course, you could go way lighter and way darker, but considering that we're trying to keep things kinda like vanilla Minecraft, I'm gonna hold back on the wacky gradients for once. Don't worry, we're gonna go nuts with the gradients soon. That'll be for cave number 2. In terms of details, I think a little waterfall coming down from the ceiling would be very dope. And since we're keeping realism in mind, let's make a little channel for the water to flow through down into a reservoir at the bottom. Simulating erosion is one of the best ways to ramp up the realism in any natural Minecraft build. Since there's a lot of water in this area, I think adding a bit of dripstone around here would make a lot of sense. And last but not least, I want people to be able to, you know, see when they're walking through my funky little cave. Glow lichen is of course a great moody, atmospheric, low light source, but if you want more hidden light, you can actually put light blocks behind those walls that we just talked about in tip number 2. As long as it's not a full light block, then the wall won't connect to it, and then nothing will be different. You'll just have light all of a sudden. It's pretty cool. If your cave has an underwater area, it's a great place to add in some more block variety. This entire time, I've been completely neglecting this bottom part of the cave here. I think it would be really neat if we had a little underground reservoir. After all, this is where our waterfall is leading to. And since we'll be working with an underwater cave section, we can get all funky with the textures. I'm gonna be taking out the water here so it's a little bit easier to see, but you don't need to do this. Let's toss in gravel, dirt, ores, moss, underwater plants, and honestly whatever else we feel like. Underwater caves in vanilla Minecraft are not only boring, but kinda terrifying. Like seriously, look at this clip I just put together in survival. I'm sure you've been in this kind of position before. This is scary. I don't like this, it's not a good time. I want our custom cave to have a vibrant, beautiful underwater section, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. Of course, you should de-block-ify and detail the underwater section just like everywhere else, but I do really highly recommend taking this extra step with the additional textures and detail blocks. Something about underwater caves is just so cool to me, and I really love the feeling of swimming around and being immersed in this crazy environment. Thank you for sticking with me through this custom cave build. Don't forget that we've got 3 more tips to go over and a whole other completely unique cave project coming up next. I just want to take a few seconds to show off what we've accomplished so far. For more custom, non-traditional caves, you can get so wacky with the fantasy ideas and block combos. Alright guys, that realistic cave was fun and all, but let's get weird with our next build. I want to make an exotic alien cave complete with crystals, funky colors, and ancient remains of creatures that used to inhabit these caves long ago. We've got ourselves a brand new cave here, and I'm really excited to get moving, but like with any good build, we gotta plan out some stuff first, like our colors. I feel like sticking with 3 to 4 main colors, ideally with 1 or 2 of them being pretty chill and desaturated, would be best. Too few colors would be kinda boring, like an old school Minecraft alpha cave or something, and too many colors would be overwhelming. Here's what I'm thinking. And just like in tips 2 and 3, we'll start off by cleaning up our cave, de-block-ifying the cave shape, and adding in our new block palette. I know this is pretty unrealistic for a cave, but hey, we're talking about some weird alien world here. As far as I'm concerned, anything goes. Whereas the first build was all about realism, this time around I'm just thinking about all them cool colors. Try playing around with lighting for a more atmospheric vibe. I kinda briefly talked about this in tip 4, but the way you use light in your build can really make a huge difference. For most of this video thus far, we've just been working with night vision on, but when you take it off, there's not much to look at. I like categorizing light in 2 ways, soft light and hard light. Soft light is the kind of stuff that you can sprinkle around your build to add a little bit of subtle glow, but it doesn't attract much attention to itself. Stuff like glow lichen, candles, redstone torches, and amethyst clusters are great at doing this. Hard light is pretty much what you'd normally use to light up a build. You know, torches, lanterns, glowstone, all that jazz. In this build, I'll be including some big custom purple crystals jutting out from the walls, and I want them to glow. So we'll be using hard light in the center of these big crystals in the form of pearlescent frog lights, and then the rest of the cave is gonna have a bit of soft light for the ambiance. If you're getting tired of cave terraforming, try adding in some underground structures to mix things up. For basically any kind of cave, there are structures that could fit well inside them. And for this build, we'll be making ancient remnants of some mysterious giant creatures that carved out these cave tunnels. Imagine giant space worms burrowing their way through the rock, making a network of tube-like tunnels through an alien world. Of course, they all died off eons ago with only their fossils remaining. Buried in the walls and the floor of this cave, I'm adding in giant skeletal remains and petrified alien eggs. The glow lichen is once again perfect here. Of course, your own build doesn't have to be weird and creepy like this, but creating a bit of your own lore is a really great way of motivating yourself to finish these big projects. Don't be afraid to take inspiration from your favorite games, shows, or movies when making these caves. A backstory will always make your build more cohesive and truly let your creativity shine through. Hey man, just wanted to say thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Given that you're here, I bet that you probably enjoyed what you just watched. And if that's the case, consider hitting that like button. It's really the only way that smaller channels like mine can grow larger. Also, if you've got any ideas for future 7 Quick Tips videos, drop them down in the comments too. I really like getting suggestions and feedback from everybody. And if I use your video idea in a future video, I will give you credit. Until next time, gamers, this has been Leon, and I will see you all in the next 7 Quick Tips video. Take care, my dudes.